Hi, I'm Suki.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic.
Hi, Claire. Hi, Suki.
How are you?
Suki cookie.
Ew, it's Suki like cookie.
Suki like cookie.
Anyway, I'm kind of brimming today.
Ooh.
I got a lot.
All right.
Are you ready?
Help it, baby. I'm ready. Give it to me.
I mean, I like talking to you all the time, but also it's kind of fun the weeks when we don't talk between recording.
It always feels actually very weird to not talk to you too much. I'm like, and it usually means to me in my mind that we're like ridiculously busy with things that annoy us.
Well, we are both ridiculously busy with things. There's a spectrum of annoyance. Whether they're annoying or not.
Yeah.
Annoying or amazing. But yeah, like we both, I don't know how we're doing this. But anyway, so I just did a little meditation right before this. It ended up being like 15 minutes. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But this is rad because it falls in line perfectly with my chakra practice. Did you all know that chakras are real? Because they fucking are. Okay. So check this out.
Part 2.
Here we go. Is this going to be never ending? Enjoy. Okay. So I'm going to lay down. I'm going to go do a meditation. Not sure where I'm going to go yet, but my intention is just to like connect. I've been actually connecting to my 8-pointed star because of you. Because it's just such an easy, nice imagery. It's way up high. So I connect to that. I ground into earth through my third eye. It's not for everyone. And then I was wondering where I was going to go on this meditation, but right beforehand, I was like looking for just high vibrational music to play. Mm-hmm. And randomly this one came up. I usually just go to my saved document or saved like files, or saved links, but a heart chakra meditation came up, or heart chakra vibrational music came up. And I was like, well, that's my answer. And it made sense because, you know, if I dug into my sacral, then my solar plexus, if I'm moving my way up, I would next go to the heart. So I go in there and it immediately was like, before I even really got in there, it was like, dad stuff's in here. And I was like, oh, weird.
It's like you had your own, what's it called, that like shows, etc. do like trigger warning. Yeah, you had your own trigger warning for you.
Right. My guides were like, just so you know, there's dad stuff in here. And I was like, oh, great. But it was like a little sad because it was like, oh, it's kind of like broken hearty stuff.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
right.
Broken hearty. It's of the broken heart origin. So I was like, all right, but here's the beautiful part. I mean, it's all beautiful.
Yes, it is.
I go in there. It's a lot tighter of a space than the other, like the solar plexus and the sacral. But I'm in there. My monk joins me. We like bow. I'm like cross-legged in front of him. He's really short. He immediately puts a crystal in my hands. I have chills. My nipples just got hard when I said that.
Oh my God, this is getting autoerotic.
No, but I'm like, I'm not turned on by my guide. I just mean like, what a beautiful thing.
Boink.
Okay, so that's...
Wait, which crystal? Is it a rose quartz?
Okay, I need help figuring it out.
Okay,
what is selenite?
Selenite is...
the long, clear stick thing?
The white. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it was selenite, but I don't know the name of it. So I feel like it starts with a C, but it was in my hand the whole meditation. And it was kind of like craggy.
What is that?
It wasn't necessarily, I don't know. It was kind of like pointy-ish, and it was kind of like pointy and jagged on one end. I feel like if I hear the word, I will know what it was.
Selenite.
I don't think, no, it wasn't selenite because I know what selenite looks like, and it wasn't.
Okay, what color was it?
Well, it was either green, yellow, or clear.
And when you say craggy, you mean pointy? Like a bunch of like...
I don't know. It was almost like, Yeah, like kind of a bunch of points. No.
Like not like a but like
I think what I understand that I need to do from that meditation is research in the Wheels of Life book what crystals and rocks are like good for heart chakra healing. But here's the crazy part. I had it in my hands in front of him the whole time, and that was the bulk of the meditation, just like have this crystal. And then I did some stuff where I was like, all right, if Dad's stuff's in here, I'm going to send love to his energy body, and I'm going to send love to his super dark energy of his ancestry and family. So I just did some visualization with that. And then I was like, let's go back to looking at this crystal. So I was just sitting with him and just cleansing my heart chakra. And then he was kind of just like, this is to leave in here. And I was like, cool. So I put it in my heart chakra, and then it was time to come talk to you. But how fucking cool is that?
Very.
Yeah. But what? I was like starting to lay down, and I was like, I wonder if this meditation is going to be a dud. And I was like, nope, because instantaneously it was like, Dad stuff's in here. And I was like, okay, here we go.
No duds.
It's so weird. Okay. What's been going on with you? Well, can I ask you a question?
Yes. Oh my God. So much better.
Oh God. It's the Claire interview show. How is Operation Self-Healing going?
I do little bits every day. So like this morning on the way here, when we had some more time, I was like, oh, cool. Let's do a quick little healing session. So I'm doing it like that. I'm doing little pieces. And it's funny because like there's a part of me that wants to give myself a hard time for not like being regimented. And then I, let that go mostly. And then there's there's all the mind parts that come in and are like, it's not so much like as if you can do this. Like, it's not really that. I think I actually cleared that. It's more of not wanting to, I don't like, well, why, the whole like, well, when is it going to work? Like, well, when is it going to be healed? And it's like, if somebody came into my studio and said, well, when will I be fixed? The answer is, I don't know, if everything moves.
Wait, let's do a little exercise.
Okay. All right. Yeah, do it. I'm ready. Jumping jacks.
I'm a client and I'm also you. When is this going to work? When am I going to be better?
I have no idea is the answer. Right. And so... And it's funny because...
Are you slightly more reassuring when your clients ask you that? Or is it difficult because I'm adding the part that's you? Because I would venture that you might not just say, I have no idea.
No, you're right.
You might say
I would say different. I will... Yeah. But I mean, actually, I usually can tell within a couple of sessions with people how long something's going to take to heal. But they're not talking about the entire nervous system. Like, it's like... How long is it going to take for me to get pregnant? How long is it going to take for, and it's funny because then I'm also trying to figure it out without it being a mental thing. Like I gave somebody a session where I infused a ton of yin into, his brain and sinus cavities and lungs. And so today I was like, oh, God, why don't you infuse a ton of yin into your nervous system, Mooney? And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And so then I did, and I'm like, so it's like that. I'm like, I feel like I'm not as intuitive and smart. This isn't true, but sometimes it feels like I know what I know to do with the client is because I get connected in and listen, where with me, it's a little bit harder and I have to go in and then wait for guidance.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that all makes total sense.
Yeah.
I kind of think we need to reframe the way we're looking at it more so that it's like, this is just a process. The journey is the experience. We're just continuously doing this. It's now a part of your life. And you can check the markers. You can look back and reflect upon your growth intermittently in the future.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, I do, like, a big word that came in during a session with Patty, not a healing session, but just a talking session, was gestation. Of like, there is a gestation period happening. And, you know, being the goop when you're turning into a butterfly, you just have to allow that, you know, that, like, I love the analogy of a caterpillar and that entire metamorphosis into a butterfly, because we all go through these huge transformations, and oh my God, are they painful, like energetically, emotionally, sometimes physically. And so many people want to get really impatient with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're goop right now. Like, you're goop in a cocoon.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yes. Just like Gwen. You know, you're mush in a cocoon, somehow transforming, you know? And so, like,
your transitional matter.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of like, well, you can't really open up the cocoon and keep going now because you're just squishy mess, and that's not timing. And so then it's like all about like allowing the gestation, you know, it's allowing it all to happen in the, you know, time and way that it does.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like what you're doing, and honestly, what we're all doing, just getting through life. It's not a finite practice.
No. And there's there isn't actually a goal. Like, the goal is getting through it as well as you can, like, and doing it as much, like, trying to move forward into the highest version of yourself. And so your heart, you know, feels good and you can connect to people without it driving you crazier and crazier, and just keep going. It's going to be over soon. Don't worry about it. It's fast.
But still, when we reach checkpoints, I know that you're going to make a lot of change happen. Yeah. It's going to be cool.
So this was a thing that you and I talked about a while ago. I don't know if we talked about it. I don't think we talked about it on the
pre-podcast.
Or it at least was edited out. But we talked about alcohol and how it's feeling like it's something that's sort of like fading from, or for me, I become more and more aware of like, yeah, I'm going to stop drinking. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just becoming so aware of how little it does for me and mm-hmm. how much worse it makes me feel. And I think it actually hinders a lot. And I was talking to a friend of mine that runs basically, it's like this cool sobriety program to help people like move into sobriety, whether it's just for like a few months or, you know, forever. And we were just talking about it, and she was talking about it in regards to energy. And she's like, so many really sensitive people, like energetically sensitive, it's why they drink in order to dampen down the energy, which is totally true. It will very quickly squash energy. But the flip side of that is, imagine how like more connected in people would be if, you know, we weren't all drinking all the time. So that's a thing besides the whole like fact that it's massive inflammation, and I definitely don't need that in my body. And yeah, so, but it's, I don't know, it's an interesting little thing. I think that it wouldn't be hard if I didn't have friends.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know?
If no one else, you wouldn't just like drink by yourself in a bubble.
Mm-mm.
This is interesting that you're bringing this up, because before the call, I was thinking a lot, or just in general, I think about this a lot lately. The connection between empathic, energetically sensitive people and sensitivities.
Yeah.
Like, how many psychics are out there that are also super smellers like I am? Or I was walking down the street and a car drove in front of me and all the windows were closed, but I could fully smell the particular scent of the combination of air freshener and leather cleaner and like the inside of the car.
No kidding.
Yeah, but that's like, wow. I've always been like that. And my kids are like that too. Like, I don't know, so many examples. We'll be somewhere and Abel will be like, oh, I smell Nicole, our friend who wears a particular perfume. You know, it's just very, I think also because our house has zero synthetic fragrance in it. So it kind of synthetic fragrance is super noticeable when you're out in the world and you're never exposed to it. But anyway, so yeah, I do wonder about like skin sensitivities and like heightened other senses having an association with psychic ability and those kinds of sensitivities. I really think that there's a connection. And I also find it to be pretty funny how, like the tagline of my brand is hair care for sensitive people, which I always thought it was funny to me because I like to kind of like joke about being a sensitive person, but I didn't anticipate at that time having a podcast about getting psychic, but I think it's all completely tightly intertwined.
Totally.
And you know what? It's hair care for psychics, okay?
Hair care for psychics.
Let's just admit it. That's who it's for.
I love it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, since we've been talking about how, chakras are real, and that all of the chakras line up with our endocrine system, and that within those systems, there are hormone regulations, which also regulate mood and feelings. And then you put products in around your body that like either have to super heighten to like ward off or they get suppressed. It's like, it's all going to, I think that we always forget because we're so programmed to think about the body as a machine and it's a part, the industrialization of, being a human, and that each individual part is separate, that you go to the cardiologist for your heart being an issue. You go to the gynecologist for your uterus being an issue. Those guys would never communicate about the fact that they're actually pretty connected, as is your foot to your head. If you fuck up your ankle and don't have it properly, looked after, eventually it's going to lead all the way up your body and you're going to start getting crazy headaches or something. Or it's going to go to, the opposing shoulder or something. It's like everything is connected and affects everything else. And I don't think we think so much about how what we put in or on affects so many systems in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Hair care for psychics. Also food for psychics.
Yeah. I have an insane amount of food sensitivities too. And I've been going through that journey for 20 years now. Really interesting how it has evolved though.
I am incredibly curious about all of the quote unquote like autoimmune issues, which you and I both have.
You've got MS. I've got Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition. And I've got celiac disease, which makes me intolerant to protein, gluten. And yeah, I'm not going to say that I think that the answer is in our chakras, but maybe I do.
I mean, like, I have read some things that are like, oh yeah, no, celiac can go away. You know, like, this can go away. It's not like that it all can be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, much like, you know, everyone can get psychic. It's like, cool, how? You know, like, is there just a straight up way? Which I think the answer is no. I don't think it would be exactly the same for every single person with celiac. But it's like we can go through the listings of like autoimmune shit and start kind of correlating chakras in a way to it, and like the endocrine system, and be like, okay, well, so if there's a problem, like, I'm actually super interested for you to get to your throat chakra and see what's up in that guy.
Me too, because that's where the thyroid lives.
You know it.
Yeah, it says, chakra 5, the thyroid and the parathyroid live in there. But yeah, this book, damn, I was reading before bed and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. But I want to read a little bit as a continuation in our chakra work.
Yes, please.
Chakras are real, part 2. How the chakras work. Now that we have examined the history of the chakra system, let's take a deeper look at the chakras themselves and examine how they might work their powerful influence on mind and body. As mentioned before, the word chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or disc, and denotes a point of intersection where mind and body meet. Chakras are also called lotuses, symbolizing the unfolding of flower petals, which metaphorically describe the opening of a chakra. The beautiful lotus flowers are sacred in India. Growing from mud, they symbolize a path of development from a primitive being to a fully blossoming consciousness, mirroring the base chakra rooted in earth, which evolves into the 1,000-petaled lotus at the crown of the head. Like lotuses, chakras have petals, which vary in number from chakra to chakra, beginning at the bottom with the first chakra. The petals number 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 2, and 1,000 petals. I wonder why, like, the third eye chakra has just 2 petals. Anyway, like flowers, chakras can be open or closed, dying or budding, depending on the state of consciousness within. The chakras are gateways between various dimensions, centers where activity of one dimension, such as emotion and thought, connects and plays on another dimension, such as our physical bodies. How fucking cool is that? I mean, come on. The intersection, in turn, plays on our interactions with others and thus influences another dimension, our activities in the outside world. Take, for example, the emotional experience of fear related to the first chakra. Fear affects our body in certain ways. We feel butterflies in our stomach, our breath is short, and our voice and hands may shake. These physical characteristics betray our lack of confidence in dealing with the world and may lead others to treat us in a negative way, perpetuating our fear. This fear may have its roots in unresolved childhood experience. No shit. Yet still rules our behavior. To work with the chakra is to heal ourselves of our constricting patterns lodged in the body or the mind, or habitual behavior. The sum total of chakras form a vertical column in our bodies called sushumna. This column is a central integrating channel for connecting the chakras in their various dimensions. It can be thought of as a superhighway on which these energies travel. Just as our asphalt highways are channels through which physical items travel from the manufacturer to the consumer. We could say that the Sushumna brings psychic energy from the manufacturer as pure consciousness, divine mind, God, goddess, the force, nature, etc., to the consumer, which is the mental and physical individual here on the earth plane. One could view the chakra as being major cities located along the highway, each responsible for producing their own kind of goods. Rather than cities, however, I view them as sacred chambers of the temple of the body, where the vital forces of consciousness can pool together on different levels. Traveling beside, around, and through the Sushumna, there are also many backroads, such as the Chinese acupuncture meridians, subtle energy conduits, which Hindus have found within the subtle body. Nadi can be thought of as alternate channels, such as the telephone network, gas lines, or dream beds where we have special channels for moving certain kinds of energy, all passing through the same vortex. It just really blows my mind every time it shows me that they're just containers for things. But I think it's just so potent because I'm experiencing them firsthand, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is one of
What's
those
funny?
It is funny. But, right, having somebody else working on your chakras or telling you what's going on in your chakras, that's cool and interesting. But when you actually go in and experience it, and then you're like, oh no, shit, it's real. Mm-hmm. It's such a different thing. It connects you into yourself on such a new, different level. It's like beyond thinking of, you're like, I have a body and inside there's a bunch of organs. I don't understand how they all fit in there or work at all. I have zero idea how this entire body is functioning, from the tiniest atomic to the cellular to the whatever level, organ level. It's wild. But to be able to also know that there are these energy systems that are all connected, that connect into all of it, and those I can go into and commune with. I think it's something actually that can help us be better humans, because we can actually experience our body in a very different way. So many people live only in their heads. Mm-hmm. And to be able to move into your body allows you to experience things in a completely different way. And there's so much more energetics that you can feel out and sense into. It also, I think, helps you feel. I think it creates way more empathy if you're inside your body.
Yeah. Wow. It is crazy. It's true. Because anytime I've ever had energy work in my life, I've just taken for granted, like, oh yeah, cool, you're doing your thing. You probably use chakras and stuff, but
it's separate from you.
Yeah. It didn't matter. I didn't need to even know what they held. But now I have personally given myself access to my own energy force field. And it is crazy. Just realizing that we're just carrying around all of the answers to our whole selves
within it.
Yeah. It's like the universe is inside us, kind of.
As above, so below. Absolutely. Right. It's all in there. Also.
Yeah. But it's I hope I'm not just doing that thing where I have discovered an ability to meditate in a certain way. I hope other people can do what I'm doing and find its benefits and find joy in it. And it's not just something that's only I can do. Have you had any weird stuff happening lately?
Have we talked about astral travel?
Not really.
Oh no, we have not talked about my experiences astral traveling. So I got a homework assignment to astral travel. So I was like, okay, let's try this out. And then once again, I'm very good at just making the going, quote unquote, going in and making this decision to transport myself to something. And so I had decided that I wanted to be a fish on a reef. And that was my astral traveling that I wanted to do, was to be a fish on a reef. So I did it. And then it was like being in a dream where, you see it all in your mind's eye. And it's, and all of a sudden, your eyes are in, you're seeing through a fish. And so I'm this little fish. It also kind of felt like being in a video game. So I'm this little fish and I, look around and I see other creatures and other fish and, it's cool. And I'm poking around and I swim out into, the deep a little bit and then turn around and look at the reef and come back. And
how clear is this for you?
Insane. I mean, it was like dreaming.
Okay. But you were in charge
of my fish body. Yeah. And so I'm doing this and I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, now what? And so then I was like, I'm bored. Like, now I'm bored. Like, here I am. I'm a fish. I'm bored. And so I called one of my guides and I was like, I'm bored. What do I do? And she said, well, why don't you become a more fun, playful sea creature? And I was like, dolphin. So I'm like, yeah, dolphin. And so then I worked to get into a dolphin body. And so then I'm in a dolphin body, totally different area of the ocean. And I'm swimming around and I'm like, okay, here I am, a dolphin. And then I find my pod that I'm supposed to be hanging with. And like totally, it was like totally start like jumping and flipping through the waves and like bumping around and playing with my dolphin pals. And so I did that for a couple minutes and I'm like, this is cool. And then...
Okay, wait, when did you do this meditation?
I don't know. Why?
Was it before bed or were you sleeping or was it?
Oh, it was midday.
Daytime?
Yeah.
So midday you're in a meditation and you've just like fully astral travel.
Yeah.
How long were you in it?
A few minutes. Can I tell you how I got out of it? Or can I tell you what? So...
Keep going.
Yeah, so I'm jumping around, playing with my dolphin pals, bumping up against each other. You know, it's fun. And it's fun. And then above us, there are boats. And I was thinking, Claire, not Dolphin, but Claire in Dolphin was like, oh, let's go say hi to the humans. And then every single thing in me went like, fuck no, don't go do that. Like, stay away from them. And I was like, oh, that's the dolphin. That's not me. And then I left. It was short. It was cool. You know, it was pretty boring, but...
Okay.
But here is where I'm like, well, when and how could this be useful? And I'm like,
right.
If I was in jail, this would be useful to be able to astral travel. You know, I've decided that, like, okay, the whole boredom thing in jail, at least I could astral travel.
Oh my God. Yeah, but you'd astral travel and be a bored fish.
Whatever. I could at least see water, or I could go and I could be a bird, you know, I could be a parrot in the Dominican Republic.
I want your thoughts on this.
Yes.
So, like, okay, this is the question. Is your consciousness taking over the consciousness of the dolphin? Or are you just...
No, it feels like I'm just riding with them. It feels like
your energy body like laid over their energy body.
Yeah. Because I was experiencing, but then I could be like, let's go here.
Yeah. But do you think that the dolphin noticed you?
No.
I mean, my brain is spinning with questions because it's like, could you like astral travel and be me?
I don't know. I was just thinking that. I'm like, I have no idea.
That's like the kind of thing where like ethics come into play.
Weird, because then I'm like, oh, could I become like a super crazy spy? Are there psychic spies?
There have to be.
And then basically, like, we're going into movie territory of like, and it's the X-Men.
Yeah.
We're the X-Men.
That's cool. Okay, so
that I did that.
So you can do it. That's cool. It was easy for you. A lot of people would want to know how. And I know a lot of people will like do it and then they're like, I can't do that again. Are there instructions?
I literally I grounded and then like, it was like I pushed out of, how do I explain this? It's like.
You just like catapulted yourself out of your body?
Yes. And it was like, we're going to go be a fish in, an ocean. And then it went to like, it was like going through like dark cloud or like dark. It was like darkness until it started getting light. And then it was like and it was like a door opened basically, but it was clouds. It seemed like, cloudish. And then all of a sudden it was just clear. And then it was like, oh, here I am in the ocean.
And you were just in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came right back out?
Yeah, as soon as I was like, okay, that's how you do it. I wanted to explain how to do it. So yes, I think that I would annoy people with how fast I can do those things.
I think I want to celebrate you.
Thank you.
I'm not annoyed.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, I have yet to be able to do that, but I think it's cool. Maybe I'll try it like the way you describe it.
I don't want to become another human.
Yeah, well, you might change your mind once you're dead.
I don't have an option once I'm dead.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's weird conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving us a review to help others discover our podcast and join our club.